What's up, everybody? My name's Mark Douglas Jr., and I'm the author of science fiction and fantasy and young adult novels. Today, we are going to be reading the Chapter 2 of Prophet of the Dragon. It's going to be my last time doing an audiobook reading of this story. From this point forward, you'll have to go and get that story for yourself. Links are in the description below. The Prophet of the Dragon is currently for sale for only 99 cents. For a limited time only. It will be going up to full price soon. So please go and get this copy while you can for ebook. It's still pretty cheap. It's $9.99 if you want the paper book, which I have here in my hand. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and get right into the story. If you're interested in hearing the prologue and chapter 1, I've got links to those videos in the description below. But this is where we're going to begin today, which is chapter 2. It's called Drakkenkamp. All right, here we go. Light seeped from the stairwell's exit. Gabriel took several minutes to climb to the top. He groped the rough and uneven stone walls to guide his way and listened to an argument taking place in the distance ahead. "Why have the two of you come?" The voice was forceful. "I hope it's to tell me you have found them." "It's hopeless," a second voice responded nervously. "We found nothing that fits your description. We've searched the castle inside and out, and there's nothing here. Anywhere." "Stay the course," the first voice demanded. "Keep searching." "Nah, Vincent," a third said, more confident than his counterpart. "The Knight's order is slaughtering us. We're not going to find them." "Oh," Vincent said. A green flickering spark shifted shadows throughout the stairwell Gabriel was hiding inside. "Do you still want to give up?" Silence. "I thought so. Now end your complaints and search." The green light vanished. Gabriel reached the stairwell's exit and moved into the shadows behind a similar statue from the long hall, a hollow knight of gilded armor. Lightning flashed, illuminated the room through a circular ceiling window of stained glass. Gabriel knew the mosaic well, 4 knights, each representing a realm of the 4 winds, slaying a dying dragon. The Dragon Wars. But the stained glass mosaic was different, the story reversed. The ruby dragon had slain the 4 knights, 2 under black talons, 1 struck with the beast's mighty tail, and the last gnawed in the creature's razor-sharp jaws. Thunder shook the castle's walls. Gabriel's eyes readjusted to the low light. He found himself in a candlelit cathedral. Empty wooden pews filled the space, separated by a threadbare carpet running down the center. The pews were directed towards 7 steps climbing to a central dais, the room's focal point. Atop the dais was a plain wooden altar with golden cups, plates, and water-filled basins. The place smelled of incense, wine, and the yellow beeswax candles burning throughout gave off the summer scent of honey. An arched window behind the altar reflected the cathedral like a mirror. "Curse the gods," Vincent spat. "Where has the Duke hidden them?" "What if the Duke has led us into a trap?" another voice asked. "Hell, Vincent, are the damn things even real?" "Do you doubt me, Stone? Do you doubt my power?" "Oh, Vincent, please." Stone shuffled across the nave. "It's just your vision. Did you foresee the Order's strength? I fear we've no escape if we do not flee now." "All right," Vincent said. "Retrieve the boy." "And the others?" "Leave them," Vincent said. "My visions tell me the Knight's Order will not harm them. But worry not, Stone. All is going as I have foreseen." You've had another vision? Another prophecy?" "Yes. Now go and retrieve the boy." "Aye." Stone's footsteps pounded. He walked past Gabriel's view. The man, aged with gray streaks in his dark hair and beard, appeared sturdy and strong, with arms chiseled like a hammer. A heavy door scraped against the stone floor off to the side, then clanked shut. Vincent was alone. The cult leader walked toward the altar. His gait sounded strange. Clink and scrape, clink and scrape, clink and scrape. The thud and lug of his stride sounded like a chain striking the stone floor and then being dragged across the rough surface. Gabriel studied him for injuries. "He's a cripple," Gabriel whispered in astonishment. Few with such maladies survived in the kingdom of the 4 winds. Unholy in the church of Lucidus, the gods would not allow such abominations to exist. The church excommunicated any family that harbored a child with deformity. Yet Vincent was a person of authority within the cult of Drakkenkamp. Vincent knelt and placed his elbows on the surface of the altar. He clasped his hands together and chanted a prayer in low whispers. Gabriel eased to the shadow's edge for a better glimpse. Vincent's left hand had an unusual mark. A tattoo? No, a scar. The disfigurement made a shape of some kind, a fire-breathing dragon, wings outstretched. His slender black armor looked almost like obsidian. Dragon glass? It glimmered as though alive. It drank in the candlelight. On Vincent's feet were sharp-tipped boots, and at his waist, a slim rapier. Yet the dark, mournful dragon glass armor starkly contrasted against Vincent's long blonde hair, which fell loosely onto his narrow shoulders. The windstriker moved between the flank pews. With his crossbow at the ready, he took aim at Vincent's back. "Don't move, Vincent," he said. "I have a bowgun aimed at your heart." Vincent continued praying. "Stand, slowly, and turn toward me." Vincent lifted his head toward the reflection in the arch window. "You don strange attire for a knight of the order," he said. "Pray tell, who sent you to this evening's gathering? Are you deaf as well as crippled? Arise, heretic, and face me slowly, hands in sight." Vincent hobbled to his feet. He turned around, hands at eye level with palms outwardly open. He wore a silver necklace with a dark red stone dangling from its chain. "Please don't shoot," Vincent said. I want to help." Gabriel repositioned the crossbow in his hand. He rolled his fingers around its tiller and tightened his touch on the trigger. Vincent leant forward a step. "I'm here for the Lombard family," he went on. "The Duke is dying, you see. I'd be surprised if he's got a week left." "Remove your sword and place it on the ground," Gabriel instructed, "then slide it over." After a pause, Vincent did as commanded. "You're making a grave mistake." He laid the sword at his feet, but he hesitated to slide the rapier. Something caught his eye. The red gemstone attached to Gabriel's crossbow began to dimly glow. Gabriel raised an eyebrow. "What in the four hells?" "Those gems," Vincent narrowed his eyes. "Most peculiar. You're no knight." "Slide the sword." Let me guess. A windstriker? You have the stink of one of Parliament's attack dogs." Gabriel advanced slowly toward Vincent, keeping his aim steady. A click sounded from behind. Gabriel stopped his approach, turned toward the noise. Stone entered the cathedral carrying an unconscious boy over his shoulder. Vincent seized his rapier and dashed toward Gabriel with alarming agility. The windstriker redirected his focus to the charging threat. He leapt rearward, narrowly evading a downward slash, and fired the crossbow in mid-air. The invisible bolt hurtled forward like a deathly wraith. "Vincent!" Stone yelled. The bolt drew near Vincent's throat, but passed through him like wind stirring leaves of a tree. Gabriel landed, unsure of what he had just witnessed. He quickly set the crossbow to his back and unsheathed the short sword from his waist. Finely honed steel rasped against the blade's casing as he prepared for close-quarters combat. "What foul trickery is going on here? You should be dead." "I've died once before, windstriker," Vincent addressed Stone. "Take the boy and go to the Fortress of the Moon." Stone did as commanded. He turned to leave. "You, halt!" Gabriel shifted his stance toward Stone and the boy. The heavy door clanked shut. "Pay them no heed, windstriker." Vincent touched fingers to his chest, just above the dangling stone, and traced them to his neck. He glanced up to the stained glass ceiling window and shouted, "Des, talk to me!" Glass shattered into 1,000 pieces as a blur of red fell from the ceiling into the cathedral. The colorful mosaic became a shower of swords, unaffecting Vincent but sending Gabriel to the floor with arms overhead. The floor shook hard and pews splintered. Gabriel fell onto his back. His short sword bounced, clanged, then landed in front of the hidden passage at the base of the Gilded Knight. Gabriel froze. A red dragon raised its long neck from the destroyed pews. The dragon's jade-colored eyes were slit like a cat's, and its triangular maw filled with blades of ivory. Its deep blood-red scales glowed and sparkled in the ambience of the candlelit cathedral. Extending down its spine from the base of its neck to the tip of its tail were sharp black spikes. "My apologies, windstriker." Vincent retreated from the dragon's range. "I'm afraid our game has come to an end, but please continue enjoying the night's festivities." Destok arose to the summit of its height and unfolded its crimson leathery wings. The dragon raised its neck upward toward the hole where the stained glass ceiling window had been. The storm outside outside now raining down into the circular tower, and it shrieked a deafening roar. Gabriel cursed and scrambled back. He slipped on a shard of glass and cut his hand. The beast lunged. Destalk's mighty tail spun around. It crashed into the remaining pews and whipped over to the downed windstriker. Gabriel sprang to his feet, narrowly avoiding the heavy blow, and rolled toward his sword. The tail struck the rough stone with the impact of a meteor. Gabriel reached his sword, grabbed its hilt, and stood to face the ferocious beast. But the dragon slashed at the windstriker with its razor-sharp talons. Gabriel ducked, yet the beast seemed to anticipate his movement. As the dragon struck with its talons, it swung its tail low to the ground, hitting Gabriel square in the chest. The windstriker's breath left him in a whoosh, and he was thrown off his feet. The tip of Destalk's tail smashed into the hollow night, shattering it, sending bits of armor clanging against the stone. The altar broke Gabriel's fall. He hit the dais with a fierce intensity that slung him and the platform into disarray. Gabriel slumped to the floor, his back throbbing. As the windstriker tried to stand, the dragon's tail hit his chest again and hurtled him and the altar into the arch window. The glass pane smashed into shards as the altar, then Gabriel, flew into the raging storm. Gabriel grasped and clawed for something, anything to stop his slippery descent from the cathedral tower. He slid past the arch opening, felt the weightlessness of flight take hold, and made an urgent last-effort grab for safety. He seized a protruding ledge 3 feet below the shattered window in his right hand and swung into the rigid tower wall. He grunted in pain as the force of the impact pulled his arm like a team of driving horses. 100 feet below, the altar struck the ground of the stone courtyard. It exploded into 100 pieces. Chill rain and wind hammered. Gabriel's fingers throbbed. Above, he could hear the clink and scrape of Vincent's approach. The cult leader reached the opening and stood over the dangling windstriker. The blood-red dragon followed close behind as a sentinel. It sat. Breath steamed through its nostrils like smoke. Vincent squinted at Gabriel. Then his eyes suddenly glossed over and he began chanting in strange whispers. "The horses of war," he muttered. "The horses of war." Gabriel grunted and struggled to get a better grip. Vincent turned toward Destalk. He placed a hand on a dark spike and lifted himself onto the small hollow at the base of the dragon's neck. "If you want to save the boy," Vincent ran a hand over the dragon's scales, "give chase." Then the beast unfurled its leathery wings and flapped, each beat of its wings like a crack of thunder. Along the ground, broken glass tumbled back into the cathedral tower from the airstream's force. Gabriel felt as though he had grown heavier from the wind's downward push. Destalk leapt through the arch window and took to the air. It beat its wings 3 times before soaring into a glide, and it carried the cult leader away into the morning's gloom. Gabriel reached with his left hand and slowly pulled himself up. He stood on the ledge and clutched his side, the pain from the dragon's attacks almost unbearable. He clenched his fists, blood streaming through his fingers. The dragon and Vincent grew smaller in the distance as the bird continued to flap its enormous wings. The fortress of the moon. Gabriel turned and marched away. As he descended the spiraling steps within the hidden passageway, blood dripped from his wounds. He may have broken a rib. His left hand might be useless, but one thing was for certain. He must save the child. And that's chapter 2 of the Prophet of the Dragon. The setting's the Fortress of the Moon, as you can see there. So what we have here is Gabriel lost the windstriker in pursuit of Vincent Black because he has kidnapped a 4-year-old boy, and Gabriel is determined to save the child. If you'd like to learn more about this story, I encourage you to click the links in the description where you can buy this book in paperback for $9.99. Currently, ebook for 99 cents while the supplies last, but while it's a limited time only, because it will be going back up in price to full price soon. So thank you for listening. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, I encourage you to smash that subscribe button, put a like on this video, share the news about this channel, and we'll catch you next time.